Okay, let's get started.
Okay.
So maybe we introduce ourselves. I'm Sarah and this is Simba, and together we are living with the
Simba.
spirit. And we live in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and we've been here we've had the company for 3 years now, and we have dedicated our lives to holistic lifestyle. So the reason why we came here and why we started this business in this space is because we decided that we want to heal physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, everything, because we felt like there's so much to be done, and we realized that we have to do it holistically because it's all interlinked. The mind, body, spirit is deeply connected, and we cannot we cannot go for one single solution. So we have to work on it all. So that's why our center is also our home, so we don't have to go anywhere. We don't have to commute, and
Smart solution.
yeah. So people come and live with us who want to do a deep lifestyle change and work on different aspects of their lives. But people also come for sessions, um, and also we work online. And yeah, we're starting to do more online things now when the situation is like it is. Yeah, so I focus a lot on detoxification, breath work, yin yoga, and social navigation.
Yeah, and my background is as a body worker, a massage therapist, personal trainer, and I was also competing in mixed martial arts. Been training martial arts since I was very young, so I was always been in a competitive environment. And from there, I kind of got into the more energetical values or how to take care of your mind, body, and spirit through Oriental martial arts. And I kind of got more and more curious about how to do that. So I developed from there and work now with TRE, a lot of emotional coaching. As I said, exercise as well. It's a mix of things in general. Do Reiki as well, do a lot of energy work, Shinesang, organ, emotional stomach massage, and essentially anything that you can use your body to release something that's stuck. If it's energy, if it's thoughts, if it's tension, whatever it is, that's what I'm keen about working and kind of going towards. So it's really fun because like we both like to learn everything, but what you really love to do is not maybe my top priority, and what I like to do vice versa. So I think it's a really good
Yeah.
combination of like trying a little bit of everything there.
So today we will kind of start from scratch with these webinars. So we will cover like why we focus a lot on the four pillars of health, like the foundation, and why it's so important to work on the foundation. And if you would work on the foundation, how much it would benefit you. How it's like you have so much to gain to go deep into the four pillars of health, as we call them. So yeah, if you get started.
So the four pillars of health is something that's been around in a lot of different communities, and a lot of different teachers has used it. Comes from the Greek philosopher Hippocrates that was saying, calling it the three doctors. Before that, you had nutrition, you had sleep, and you had happiness, to cultivate happiness. So one of my teacher added a fourth one, which is movement, because people have a sedentary lifestyle today. And essentially, it is kind of like if you imagine that your life is a car, right? You're a car, and whatever you want to do in life, that's your purpose, that's your direction, that's where you're going. So these different four pillars, the rejuvenation, nutrition, movement, and happiness or emotional regulation, they are like the different wheels of your car. So if you slice one wheel on a car, it's not going to go so well. If you slice two, good luck. It's not really going to move you forward. So we use this analogy for people to understand that if you have all four wheels intact, it is a lot easier to move forward to whatever it is you want to do. If it's, feeling better, meeting the love of your life, someone is dealing with anxiety, maybe someone has pain, or maybe someone doesn't have misery in general, or any setbacks in life, you just want to feel better. You just feel like there is more I want to do. So whatever the reason is, we like to use these four pillars as a base. And what we notice is when people don't have these four pillars um, balanced, I would say, or in order. Not that there is something that's right or wrong, but when they're out of balance, when your sleep is out of balance, then your mental focus is definitely going to start to come down. And there is tons of illnesses and diseases and conditions that you can get from just lack of sleep. I know I was working with a lot of truck drivers that was driving across Sweden, where we're from, and you can even get drunk driving if you drive too long. They have to register how long they drive, and if they drive too long periods of time without sleeping, they can actually get charged with drunk driving because it creates so much impairment to your mental system. So that's why we talk a lot about the rejuvenation in general. Like how do you rest, how do you cultivate that energy, not just with the sleep, with the meditation, with your downtime. How can you use your restorative habits to not lose a lot of energy, essentially, that you can kind of focus them forward, propelling somewhere. And then nutrition, whatever you eat is what's going to replace your cells, and it is what you're going to become. And I'm not just talking about calories, I'm talking about everything you put into your body is going to tell all your cells in your body a message. It has like information that is going to share to your body, do this. So it's about the hormones, it's about how the organ works, about the glands, how we take away all the waste particles from the things that we cannot absorb from the food. The cleaner food we eat, of course, the less of these particles we'll have, and the less the body will have to work to really detoxify it. So, I mean, those are essentially the two first pillar that we always focus with people: the nutrition and the restorative habits. And personally, my experience, if these two are not addressed first, you can have progress. I'm not saying this is the only way to do it. I'm not a absolutist in any way when it comes to that. I just have a very hard time seeing reaching a sustainable lifestyle with progress where you feel balanced if your sleep is not in order and if your nutrition is not in order, because it's kind of like we're taking energy from the wrong tank. We're taking energy from our backup account, from our Federal Reserve, or whatever you want to call it. We're taking energy, borrowing from muscles, from bones. It's breaking the body down, so it's not actually building the body up. So that usually works a couple of years, maybe when people are younger. Maybe it works up in the ages as well. But eventually, something's gonna happen. You're gonna hit a wall, nervous system breakdown, or something usually happens, unless we have very, very good genes. But that's still not an idea to misuse them. So without advocating too hard, I think if we have these two in order, then we're really going to have a platform for moving forward.
Yeah, because what we see when people come to us with the issues that they have is that the nervous system is most, like always something going on with the nervous system, because the lifestyle that like many of us live today is, it's like we live a lifestyle that we're not created to do. So we are constantly under stress, and the stress comes in such a different manner these days. And it's like we have like some people can have a lower amount of, like, maybe the the stress is not super high in terms of impact, but it's a lot of different things that keeps on, that never kind of goes away. And if your sleep is not very good, then like the body is healing itself during sleep. We are in a fast, all the cells are kind of regenerating, and the body is working very hard during sleep. And if we don't have enough sleep and we have this constant stress on ourselves, and then we add maybe an unhealthy diet and maybe a job that we don't like, I mean, then the body is under a lot of stress. So that is why we yeah, with the issues that we see in the people we work with, those are the two main pillars. And the food is not, the diet is not only uh, what most people know, like, yeah, if I don't eat healthy, I won't feel good. But you can also use the nutrition as a healing tool, like, as one of the most prominent healing tools, if you start to explore the detoxification process also. So these are two very, very powerful pillars for for long-term health and short-term.
Yeah, definitely. I agree 100%. And that's something I noticed for myself. Like I was working different jobs when I was starting out as a personal trainer. You know, it's not just a line of clients coming working for you. So I was working nighttime jobs as well. So I was working nighttime, daytime, and kind of shifting. And once I quit my nighttime job, I didn't actually change anything in my training, but my results went up. I was worked quite meticulously with measurements and all analyzes. It was kind of like 300% or something in the lapse of a month in terms of how much energy I had and how much I can start to lift heavier, if that's a measurement you want to use, or just, you know, feeling vital, like waking up in the morning and like, yeah, I'm gonna take this day on, not like, oh my God, where's the coffee? Where's that? And then you hit a wall the first thing you do when you wake up.
Yeah.
So that was a big, big thing personally that I experienced, and then I knew about it and kind of felt like, yeah, sure, but I'll sleep these 8 hours that you're supposed to, or you know, 9 or whatever, you know, I was thinking, but to actually practice it and to follow it and to follow specific hours when you sleep, you know, there's this circadian rhythm when the sun comes up. It's a lot of light that of course hits your pineal gland, third eye, as they call it in spiritual communities, and that regulates melatonin, right, like your sleep waking hormone. So that's going to alert your whole body, releasing cortisols, adrenaline. It's kind of like nature saying, come on, you're going to wake up. If you're trying to sleep through a process like that, like if I was working late at night and I was trying to sleep when it's light outside, or vice versa, trying to go to bed when it's starting to get light, it's messing with the whole system. It's like you're just shifting everything around in a way that I would advocate for the body's not designed to do. And that can create a lot of it can create a lot of long-term and also short-term distresses. So like having the balance, like having the sleep and having the nutrition. Welcome.
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 Having the sleep and having the nutrition that you can connect with your body is essentially going to be the first steps that we say. And when it comes to nutrition, we both work with it. You really like to work with it, and I, for some reason, I wouldn't say I don't like to work with nutrition because that would be a lie. But my personal belief is there's a certain amount of information when it comes to nutrition and organs, like basic information they need to know, and the rest is really about you and your connection to your body. So, like, eat this, don't eat this, don't eat that. Sure, I could advocate for what I think is right for me, for my body, and what I see with clients. I'm not going to push an agenda on anyone that eat this way or don't eat this way. But if someone asks me what's the best way to eat, then I'm going to say like what I eat, like raw food and a lot of, you know, uncooked or plant-based food, and like food that really has vitality and energy. And what I face most of the times is not so much about what people actually eat, but rather the resistances of why we're not eating.
The resistances of, yeah, it's more about what people refuse to give up than, because most people know what to eat, but there's a reason why they don't do it. But why I love the nutrition so much is because I've had I've had hypothyroidism for many, many, many years, and I've been on tons of medication for that. When I came to Thailand, I was on 8 different supplements and 3 different um, thyroid medications. And also the year before I left, the doctors put me on steroids because my energy level was so low. And my energy levels had been super low my whole life. So I've been using detoxification to heal my organs, like with cellular regeneration from the inside, and have transitioned off all my medications, all my supplements, and all the steroids and everything, and is now 100% medication free, and my energy levels are higher than they were on they were on the medication, and even before I started the medication. So I know what the nutrition can do in terms of healing, and in terms of all kinds of well-being. We will talk a little bit more about the emotional well-being, but if your organs are not in balance, and if they are not functioning properly, if your thyroid is not functioning properly, if your adrenal glands aren't functioning properly, then your whole system will be out of balance. And these organs and glands, they produce a lot of hormones, and the body is a very, very well balanced machine that has like so many chemical processes going on at the same time. And if the core of the system is failing, then so many different things are getting affected. And if we, as I was with my hypothyroidism, I felt completely disconnected from the world. I was depressed. There's so many different emotional balances that gets out of balance due to the low functioning of the organs. So if we're not feeling happy or energetic or joyful, it might be that our system is not working properly. And when I realized that you could fix that with nutrition, then that became one of the key components to my personal healing. And of course, changing the lifestyle and all of the other aspects. But that was a key for me. So that's why I'm very passionate about it. So any questions about that, I'm happy to answer.
Yeah. Do you have any question at all, by the way? I mean, we are going now because we're used to doing this. So don't be, don't be shy. If you have anything.
Yeah, just raise your hand if you have a question. Interrupt us, please. And just make yourself heard in one way or another, and we invite you in. So why is movement one of our key components?
Well, it's so much like every function of the body, more or less every function of body is like a different system, or like pumps, right? Like you pumping your bicycle, or a water pump, or whatever kind of pump you're used to, like flushing the toilet. That's also a pumping system that flushes something out. So everything in the body gets pumped when we do some kind of movement. And when we say movement, we're talking about not only physical exercise in terms of going to the gym and lifting weights. It can be running, can be swimming, can be going with the bike. It can be commuting to your work with a bicycle, or walking in nature, hiking, climbing, dancing, gardening, playing with a very high energetic kid or pet. That's a real workout. So it can be a lot of things, everything that makes you kind of move and express. So I like the saying from Latin. In the Latin language, the name for joints is articulatio, and the word articulate means that you actually you articulate, you pronounce the word right, but it comes from you moving the joint in the right manner. And when you move it in the right manner, it supports you. There's nothing that stops. It's not going to stop against an edge. It's not going to start to tear down. The muscles are not going to start to having to work harder. It's not going to create imbalances in the body. But that's more on the physical exercise side. What happens in health-wise when we don't exercise, or if we don't move enough, is a lot of toxins get stored in the body. Everything that we're supposed to get out from our lymphatic system, which is a fluid-based system, kind of like a septic tank, like when we flush on the toilet seats, same thing. That kind of gets everything moving out of the system. So when we sweat, we regulate heat in the body. We use the skin to get rid of toxins. when you go to bathroom, you know, through your kidneys, through your bladder, through your colon, we help the whole body. We pump. When you exercise, you're moving your body. You're kind of massaging the colons. You're getting everything to move. And as I seen as a massage therapist, is a lot of people that come with chronic pains or yeah, people actually you people come for a lot of different reasons for massage. I thought they came for tense muscle when I started like 15 years ago, and I was like, there's all kinds of things. I had people that come in and they're like, oh, I feel sad all the time, and I went, go to massage. Okay, I didn't know. I was in the beginning of my journey. I was like, okay, sure, all right, okay. But it's self care, basically self care. You know, the physical touch is nurturing. That's something that you notice. They did studies in orphanages where nurses were closest to the, like, there were kids lying in rows in their little cubicles, and the kids that were closest that the nurses could actually physical touch and caress, they started to release a lot of dopamine and, you know, oxytocin, all of this feel good hormones that you get from physical touch, the nurturing sensation. And the kids that were further away didn't get it, and they followed them a couple of years in the study, and the kids that were further away developed a lot of emotional attachment pattern, like feeling safe, feeling loved, feeling heard. They developed a lot of imbalances just from the lack of touch. So that's something that you can get both from, of course, a massage, but also from physical exercise in general, that you're moving your body, that you're actually engaging the muscles, you're connecting to something, you're taking care of the physical vessel. And when you do so, you start to release tension. And a lot of tension many times does not necessarily come, most of the times, I would say, my experience, doesn't really come from what you do, unless you do triathlon or something nice like that for longer periods of time. Or sure, it can be work related, but a lot of them that I see personally working comes from something we're thinking about that's not really resolved, or this emotion, or I didn't say that, or someone said too much, or, you know, all of these things, and they just get stuck in the body. It's just like tension, and then it feels like energy is stuck, and then, you know, it's like a team. It's like a volleyball team, you know, like you know, there's a certain amount of players. If two of them just decide to relax and just sit back, the rest of them are going to have to work really hard to sustain something forward. The analogy I'm making is, if your muscle starts to tighten up somewhere, the rest of the body is going to have to work a lot harder, and that is quite easily avoided just by moving. I'm not saying you have to go to the gym or doing things like this. It's simply about moving the body, getting the fluids going, getting the energy pumping the joints, articulate a little bit, do something that's fun and a little bit strenuous, and have it regular in your day, and you're going to notice a lot of benefits. Maybe you are already doing it, maybe you aren't, but, and also shifting, that's something I usually say, even people are physically active, so try to shift your regime. I was very static at a point. I was doing the same thing. Oh, this Monday, this on Tuesday, and this Wednesday, and now I do this yoga, and now I do this, and I do, and the body kind of needs stimulation too. So shift around, you know, like every now and then have a rest week, go out to nature, do something differently. But it really is about moving the body and sustaining it. You know, when you're strong in your body, you have a posture that makes you not feeling so tired mentally. I've yet to see a depressed person walk upright like this. You know, it's usually this protecting yourself, kind of closing down pattern, comes from tight muscle. When you start to reverse those patterns, you're going to get psychological benefits, because the body is going to notice, oh, it's going to get feedback. Oh, we're feeling in this way, we're doing this. So there's a strong connection just between the posture and your mental well-being.
And the fourth pillar is emotional balance. And we have that as the fourth pillar because it's so much tied together with the first three pillars. So it's very difficult if you have emotional issues, or if there's something that you struggle with. It could be a grief, like sadness that won't go away, or could be anger issues, or anxiety, or stress, or anything that affects our emotional balance. And if we're, yeah, it can also be the lack of purpose. It's like, could be the lack of happiness.
Yeah.
So it can also be that we don't feel happy, we don't feel like we have a purpose in this life, or yeah, it could be tons of things. But if you want to work on that and you don't address your nutrition, you don't address the rejuvenation pillar, and you don't address the movement pillar, then it's very, very difficult to really work. You could have short-term solutions, or you find that one technique that can really take the edge off. But if you really want to work with your emotional imbalances to the core, you have to work on the other three.
Yeah, so as Sarah said, basically, if you're alive, you're gonna have something to work on with your emotions and stress. And doesn't matter if you work on it like we do. We have days you feel like you don't always feel
It's
great, and sometimes people don't always feel great.
Ongoing process.
Yeah, sometimes you get projections, sometimes you project on others. The point we're trying to make is, if you don't sleep enough, if you don't have the restorative habits enough, you don't have the energy to deal with it. You don't know if it comes from you tired or if it's actually from someone else. What's right? Focus goes down. If you don't have the nutrition right, you don't have the energy. You're not actually having the building blocks to change something. It takes energy to do a personal developmental journey, whatever way you kind of going. Energy work, exercise, yoga, mindfulness, wherever you want to go, it takes energy to shift the behavior. So essentially, if these three pillars are not working, coming, and you want to start working with a very deep trauma, it's kind of like you're not feeling safe. The body is not getting enough energy. The organs is not in balance. You're not sleeping properly. And I want to go in and work with the nitty gritty on my deepest thing. There's no way, in my opinion, your mind, subconscious mind, your body's going to feel safe enough to, let's say, let's choose another strategy that we don't know, that's unknown, besides from this one that we already know. Yes, let's do that. I have yet to see that happen. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I'm saying it's very hard if we don't have the basics, because it's essentially there's no base. There's nothing to really stand on to move forward. I mean, sure, people use different tools. I use tools and had amazing results, but to really have something sustainable and to be able to move forward, we believe you need to have that holistic aspect, that you're actually working with the different areas in your life and have them work together, just like the car analogy in the beginning, because that will kind of propel you forward. You don't even have to have a spoken purpose, but if you kind of have these four in order, you're like, okay, well,
there's so much to benefit from having these four in as the base. There's so much energy to gain from working with these four. And what we usually do is that, so when people come and work with us, we assess them to within all these areas, and within we ask a lot of questions to see where because when people come to us, we don't know them, so we want to get to know them quickly without spending too much time, because people usually want to get started quite fast. So we ask them a lot of questions, and then we can see where, like, what pillar is in balance and which one is out of balance. And not everyone, well, some have four that are completely out of balance, that they are they're not doing very well in any of them. So then we choose two and focus to get started. But otherwise, some people have a really, really good exercise regime or habits, or eat pretty well, but then the rest is out of balance. So we usually start to work with the one that is most urgent.
Yeah, no one is really broken, that's just a perceived notion, a conception. I'm not saying people didn't have hard times growing up, and there's a lot of things that happen to us, but essentially we are not broken. It's out of balance,
yes,
looking to come back into balance. And that's no blame, shame, guilt into anyone's journey saying it's easy or not, but it's simply when you start to balance, that's when everything becomes more looser. Things start to move. Things start to happen out of a little bit nowhere. Little coincidence or whatever. You kind of start to align and you start to move somewhere. I mean, a big part of the questionnaires and assessments, like you said, you don't really have to come with a specific issue. Like, I have a problem, I have an issue, this is something I need to fix. Can just be you want to feel better, and a lot of the questions are designed to raise the awareness. So going back to myself, I knew a lot of the things within all the different areas when I started working with this a couple of years ago. And then I actually said, yeah, I'm doing this good, because I had an idea of how I was doing it. And then I started to log myself and writing down, and I kind of went, oh, this is how I think I do, and this is how I actually do. And that creates an awareness, and that awareness is essentially knowledge, right? Knowledge about what is it that you're actually doing, what is this signal your body is telling you. Not to be stereotypical, but as a stereotypical guy, emotion was a big thing to start to work on. Like, I was exercising since I was a young kid. I never did a lot of drugs. Sure, I partied a little bit, but I never kind of got into that. I don't drink alcohol since I don't know how many years back. And when I didn't train or physically exercise, then I started to get these jittery feelings, and I felt bad, and I kind of like, and for many years I went like, oh, I just feel bad when I don't exercise. And then I started to look it up, and I started study behavior science, sports psychology at university. And it was like, yeah, training dependency. I had withdrawal syndromes like you had from not taking your drugs or your addictive substances or coffee or whatever it is. And it was anxiety that was propelling it. And I didn't even know about it. I was just like, no, this emotion is this. I didn't know a bracket of how to put it. And then essentially what I'm getting at is, it's like an energy that wants to move. The body wants to move this energy. And I was kind of like just taking that energy and exercising instead of actually addressing the real problems. I was just doing a coping solution for it. And that was working for a while until I started to damage my body and couldn't exercise as hard as I was doing. And then that was double trouble because my tool didn't work and I didn't know what was going on. So from there, I started a lot of the emotional work. And that's what I see with a lot of clients too. Female, male, doesn't matter. That has nothing to do with the aspect, but it's the awareness that I'm trying to address, like that we are aware of what we are actually doing and what's actually happened. And when we get too habitualized, which everyone does at a certain point, then it's hard to see what's what. It's really hard to see the choices we make that makes us wind up somewhere.
Yeah.
And we can't see that we're making a choice. Not everything is like this, and that's I'm doing this, but that doesn't work. There's a lot of choices, self-talk, and behaviors that lead into a certain result. And the awareness is really to step back and start to see, when are you making these choices,
Yeah.
and how could your life be different if you start to just do something
Yeah.
a little bit
We
different.
all do it. We all have coping mechanisms to cover up things that we find uncomfortable. And it can be 10 things that are quite insignificant, and then we also have the real issues, like we cover up I mean, that's what trauma is, that we have these behaviors that kind of put a lid on something that we didn't have or didn't get the tools to cope with as younger. And we all have different things. So for us, there's nothing strange about that. It's like
No.
we all get, it's like we get a hand of cards and it's like, okay, I got this and I got this. What did you get? Okay, you got this and that. But there's so much energy and well-being to gain if we want to work with these things. Then we always start with the 4 pillars of health, to kind of, because then things will also start to rise and come to the surface. And from there we start. So we work with individuals mostly. So we start to work with the 4 pillars of health, and then things will start to come to the surface quite easily.
And that's why we have the center set up the way we do, that we share a lifestyle, because we are still healing. We're still on a journey. There is no elitism in this. There's no one that's above anyone else on a different level. Maybe someone has worked more and kind of find something that helped them to come into balance. and you have something to share to another person. But the whole philosophy is sharing tools, of course, professional tools, education we have, but really teaching and sharing from a place of experience of, like Sarah said, with the nutrition. I work through all of these things. I know how it is. I go to doctor and I get this information. Not to say that doctors are bad or anything going into any of that, but like to be able to be empowered to have the information to create your own health, to create your own well-being and have the tools and resources. I mean, if I break my arm, I'm not going to sit there and Google and try to figure it out. I'm going to go to a hospital, I guarantee you. But if I have a headache, I'm not going to go to a hospital and ask a doctor why I have a headache. Maybe I'll hydrate more, maybe I'll sleep more. I have like 10 million things I'm going to do before I wind up there.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is there's a big gap between you're sick till you're actually healthy. And a lot of people in the West, when you feel something, you believe you're here straight away, and then this pill, this thing, quick solution, and then we come back. And I believe that's a big part of the problem. So it's about really gearing back and looking at, increasing the awareness. What are the choices I'm making, and what is the conditioning, the untold story that kind of sends me down into these behaviors? And there is zero judgment. There is zero calling someone out on it. It's just mirroring and sharing from a place of experience and growing together. So
Yeah, one of the reasons that why I work with this is because we want to show people that you have the power yourself, that you can do so much on your own. Maybe you need some guidance, you need to work with someone, but once you kind of get the hang of what you need to do, you you it's the answer is in your lifestyle. And there's so many things you can do to improve your health without, yeah, like doing it in a natural, non-invasive and a holistic way. That's, I mean, that's basically what we promote, like self-empowering. Yeah, learn, you get to know yourself, what you need and what you need to work on, and then you can be your own best teacher. So now we've been rambling on here for almost 45 minutes. Do we have any questions or sharing or?
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Hey, thank you. Okay, so we have two questions that we from before. So I will ask them. You haven't read them, so I will ask you. So we'll see what you answer. So the question is: I have a stressful job and an overall stressful life with 2 children and many social activities. I love my life, but I feel I don't have the energy anymore, and I start to feel the stress becoming stronger and stronger. I've seen with my friends and coworkers what stress can do to you, and I don't want to go that way. Where do I start?
Oh, that's a question.
maybe we send her this webinar.
First of all, I don't have kids, so I'll work from intuition and from previous experiences from other people. Well, there's something about the semantics when someone asks a question. I feel this oncoming thing coming. I've seen it in other people, and I feel like I don't have the power to stop this stress oncoming. That's the first thing I heard with the question. What is that make you believe you're going that way? What are you doing that's driving you in that direction? So that's the first thing I would like to see with the person. Like, what is it that's actually, and that can be a little bit, maybe in a group setting that will be a little bit awkward, but that's the way it is sometimes, and you can do private if it feels awkward. But I would ask a little bit of more questions to really redefine, like, what is the core of the question? What is it that's actually holding you back?
Yeah.
Because I believe that there is usually one or two like core reasons, and we start to work with the core reason alongside with small like short-term solution. Okay, I don't know, like go to bed a little bit earlier. Like I know a lot of parents that said, okay, as soon as the kids go to bed, especially when they're young, they're like, oh my God, I have to clean and make lunch and I have 200 things at my own time before I actually go to bed because that's might be the window they have or with the job they have. So it's really about finding practical solutions to get more time or to use your time in a different way so that you can actually relax and that you can actually come down. That's the first thing I would say. I don't think a person like this needs more. Start doing yoga, start doing this. No, that's probably the opposite. I think a person like this needs to kind of gear it back a little bit and to have a little bit like if you have 2 minutes over, what do you do with it? If you get 2 minutes over and sit down, what can I do right now? Right here, not in the future, not if I win $1 million. What can you do right here, right now that will make you feel better? Hot cup of tea, just massaging myself and like, yeah, I'm a super mom. I'm a super parent. Like, wow, I'm raising two prominent, whatever it is, doing something that's good for yourself and to start ingraining in that. Because a lot of times when I work with parents, I see, for obvious reason, all the attention goes to the kids. And yes, I agree, as I said, I don't have children, so I'm on thin
Strike one.
I'm on
Yeah.
thin ice here.
Yeah.
But I grew up with people that you know that had a lot of parents that focused on everything on the kids, and what the kid learn is you never focus on yourself because that's what grandfather did, and that's what mom did, and that's what I'm gonna do now. So it kind of becomes like a generational value that you send on. I believe it's really important to show that side to the kids as well, learning about integrity, learning about self-care and what that means. I don't know. Depends on the energy levels. I mean, I have clients with kids that have very, very high energy levels, and I kind of say, brace. you know Find what you need to do to get the energy up. Like it's going to be like this for a while. Find activities, find different outlets, resources for the kids energy, but everything
Mravljeni kara na tej strani, izvolite.
everything that I hear is always like, how am I going to help do this or this with the kid, or how am I going to cope with this situation? It's kind of like this question is kind of like you're almost out of the scenario. Like, this is the way it is. How am I going to fit into it? Like, you actually create this. You are the creator of this whole life. It's not like, how am I going to fit in as a puzzle piece into this life? No. How can you make changes in the life so you don't have to see yourself as a puzzle piece? And that's what I meant with the core value. I would actually ask them a little bit more questions, but definitely, you know, make sure to get sleep, power naps, meditation if you can, guided meditation if you don't have the mental stillness right now to do that. If you can go take massage or anything like that, do it. If it's too expensive with massage, there's always massage school with students, and they kind of want to learn. Maybe they're not the best, but it's it's affordable. It's something that you can do. There's a lot of solutions that you can kind of do to get self-care and to step back and do things. So really get the nutrition and the sleep in order, I would say, for this person. And some, I don't know, I would have to ask more questions before I can say more of this.
Okay, so I would say, because I come from I've so much stress history when I was working in the corporate world. So I had a stress. Yeah, I went to the famous wall, and I collapsed in the subway. I didn't know where I was, and didn't know what country I was. So I've had severe stress issues. So what I would say to this person, it's about, I will touch a little bit on what you said, that you don't try to fit into the puzzle. You need to you can rearrange the whole puzzle, and you have to make it fit you, because that's exactly what it is. It's a situation that we have. We can go as far as say that we created the situation ourselves. But what the important thing is that we need to take back like accountability and control of the situation, because there's something that is kind of getting out of hand. And I would say prioritize your own health. And really, she says that she has a lot of social activities, so you need to really take back the power and prioritize your health. Because if you don't change, you see like, oh, this it's coming, and it's like, yeah, if you don't change anything, it will come. So you have the power to create your whole lifestyle, and it's time to make some like time management. So make sure that you get the sleep, make sure you get downtime, prioritize, and remove things that are creating a lot of stress. You have something you call yes and no practice.
Yeah.
Really observe, what am I saying yes to and what am I saying no to, and start saying no to things and prioritize your own health and your own time. And if you can get good nutrition in there, a little bit of movement, and some to get the pillars covered, some meditation or yoga, and yeah. But it's, I would say it's time management is huge with stress, huge. Like we have to start cutting things off to have time for ourselves. And
Yeah. And I thought it was funny what you said, like, oh, I see the stress is coming. I would be like, you're fishing for it, and you're really sitting and waiting for it. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying it in a
No,
negative way, but that is exactly what's happening. And it's kind of becomes a little bit funny when you put it like this. And I like to use humor to kind of like break up the tension sometimes. Like, come on, you see what's going on here. What can we do to start to fix this? To kind of use.
But action
Yeah.
is the key. And yeah, if the person want to describe the situation more in depth, they can do that, and I will answer. Okay, second question is, could you please suggest some tools for short-term anxiety coping?
Breathing. Wow, 100%. And the way that I see anxiety, I mean, there's tons of different definitions out there, and I'm not gonna say that I'm putting up my own PhD theory about what anxiety is, but it's really about being in the future. Like a lot of, if I say worry, it's a lot about what will happen in the future, and anxiety is this past experience. What if this happens in the future? What if this past experience is gonna happen again? So regulation, like the quickest way that I ever work with myself or someone else when it comes to anxiety is to drop into the body, and that goes through breathing, definitely. So breathing is connected to your autonomic nervous system, like all the automatic reflexes that you have in your body, but we can control it. So it's also in the voluntary nervous system. So it's the one system that's connected to what we can control and what we can't control. So that's a way to regulate everything in your body. And then dropping into peripheral senses, like what are you seeing? Look around the room, like identify some different things. What makes you feel safe? What makes you feel practical here in the room, not in the future scenario where, I don't know, you're losing your job and this big person comes and throws you out of your apartment or whatever kind of the anxiety is about. What can you see here, right here, that brings your awareness back into the room, back into where you're at right now. What can you hear? What kind of noises do you have around you? Sensations, feeling, where do you feel something in your body? Oh, I feel my forehead, but I don't feel my stomach. Okay, maybe rub your stomach and breathe and come down, connect to your body, because you're in the mind and you're kind of starting to go out of the body. So coming back into the body. Smells, tastes, essential oils, massage, tapping, something hot, something cold, play with temperature. Use the body to bring you right back right now, and do that for a while. And then from there, it's easier to start working on a long-term solution. But that's definitely the way that I would go about anxiety, to you just come right back into the body and drop into the senses.
Yeah, I would breathing for sure, and coming back to the body, because anxiety is being in the mind and being in the future, and a lot of worry, and to coming back into the body. I mean, of course, you need to address the root cause, But short term is I would definitely get some physical exercise to get the dopamines and the well-being hormones into a regular in your routine. Start doing breath work. Breath work is fantastic. It really works on the nervous system. There's many different kind of breath works. Some breath work styles work with activating the parasympathetic nervous system, and other types of breathwork techniques works on kind of like help and flush the fight and flight, the sympathetic nervous system. And
yeah. I thought I saw a question there. I thought I saw clapping. Maybe that was clapping for the answer, or maybe it was a question. I'm not sure.
Yes, that's what it was. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. No, yeah, definitely. I mean, I had tons of anxiety, and it comes at times. But most things that we worry and have fear and anxiety about, they didn't kill us, and they probably won't happen. That's my experience. And there's tons of if you want to go into motivational psychology, there's tons of models and things. But essentially, it's like, did it bring you down the last time? No. Have you survived something worse than this? Yes.
Yeah, anxiety is not fun.
It's not fun, and it's not logical, and it's easy to sit and say that's not so easy. And then when you're in it, you don't really see a way out. So that's why I really say come back into the room, make everything a little bit smaller, because it's like your antenna is just wide open. You're taking in every information, and you're adding information, and it's a free flow of impulses that is not being able to be regulated. So that's what I mean, like, make the world a bit smaller, and it's going to be a lot easier to work from there when it comes to anxiety. And then you can start to work with the long-term solution of, okay, where does this behavior come from? What's the trigger or root cause? And there's tons of ways of doing that. But yeah, definitely drop into the body as a short-term solution.
Okay, so that's 1 hour. That's that's time flies.
Time flies.
And if you have any questions now, you can ask them. You can also write us in the chat if you would like, if there's another topic that you would find interesting, that you would say like, I would show up for that topic, because we work organically with the growth and what happens. So we're very open for suggestions. Otherwise, we will continue to deep dive into each and every pillar to really see what we work with, and to get some tips and tricks in every pillars. We'll take them one by one. If we don't get suggestions or demands or
question in between.
Yeah. And if you have questions, you can just email us. If you have questions that you need help with, you can always email support@livingwiththespirit.com, and we will answer. Sometimes we record a video as an answer. Sometimes it's a short. The feeling goes more to answer in the email. But there is a support mail for specific questions at support@livingwiththespirit.com. And we will do more of these things, and we have our YouTube channel with personal updates and tips and tricks that will start to grow a little bit more, where we will also post the answers for the questions that people write us. And we're launching a health club. We're kind of soft launching the health club that will be video courses, in-depth video courses in the 4 pillars. That's the base, and then it will continue to grow with more pillars. But we will start with the 4 pillars. So far, assessments, nutrition, and detox is up, and we are working on the rejuvenation pillar. And during the time where we are setting up the 4 pillars, we will have a discount on the prices. Okay, we're getting okay. Both of us super interested. And yeah, did anyone have a question now? I saw that someone asked to be unmuted.
If you unmute everyone.
Yeah, can unmute everyone and.
Yeah, essentially, as Sarah said, with the health club, it's pre-recorded videos with, you know, step-by-step instructionals for practical and theoretical tools to work your way through it. Just like the question we just got, what can I do practically to start to build my lifestyle up from the comfort of your own home? So there's questions to see where you're at, where you can start from, questions to see your progress, videos with explaining why different things happen, because a lot of times when we get the knowledge, the information, we feel empowered, and you know you're not alone and there's nothing wrong with me, and you know all of these things that can happen. We actually, you know, start to figure out a little bit what happens and maybe see something that resonates with you that you weren't able to understand. But the practical tool is will make you embrace it and actually get something moving, get something to happen. And it doesn't have to be fast. You can do it in your own pace. And some people combine the club with the session with us, and it works as a complementary or as a standalone, and it's completely up to you. And at the end of each pillar, there's like a 30-day plan for how you can use all of this knowledge into weekly practice. What can I do from here? How can I move forward? Or like a monthly plan, 2 months, 3 months, whatever you want to do with it. So it's really about creating lifestyle habits. That is not, oh, I'm gonna lose 10 kilos for this special occasion or whatever. I'm creating a new lifestyle that's gonna benefit me and the ones I love, and so I can grow old, strong and happy and vital, and be able to do what I want to do. And that's essentially what we want to share with these programs and this talks. We'll go through our heart-based questions, as you can see, but we also, of course, we want to take inputs, and we want to work with what people really feel like. Oh
Yes.
my God, okay, you talked about all this balance, but I have this problem,
Yeah.
this thing, and this. Okay, we will do that. That's fine. That's no problem. We can make a topic about that specific area. And I know that's how it works. When we're really focused, when the stress is pushing the button, and you know, tunnel vision becomes an error, and if I just have a question, if I just have a solution for this little problem, my whole life will be fine. Okay, well, we'll start there, and then we can see where it leads, if it's a matter of perspective, or maybe it was like that, you know, maybe it was that aspect. I need something to help me with this. We will work with what we get feeded with. That's basically what we say.
Okay, last possibility for questions. Otherwise, we will round it off for today. And yeah, super happy to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us, and hope to see you again. And yeah, please write us if there's anything you feel that we can support you with.
And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we're going to put up a lot of more content like this. So maybe sometime you can't be in one of these. We'll try to record a little bit, since it's only us on the video, and you know, like personal questions, kind of edit out, so it's not like anyone's going to see you sharing your darkest, deepest secret on YouTube. No, we can use it as a fictive question. So it's more about sharing the content, so other people might ask the same question. So please, if you want to support and know more, follow us on YouTube, and we're going to put up a lot of videos and contents for you to have something to munch on.
Okay, thank you everyone, and have a beautiful Sunday, and hope to see you again.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your effort.
Thank you.
And your energy, and it reminded me of very many things. I'm very glad about it. Thank you so much.
Good.
Good.
Thank you for that feedback. All right, bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.